Welcome back to the channel, and today I thought I'd compile a bunch of questions that I keep getting asked about first-time car buying. And I thought I'd make a guide about this and have a 9-step process that we can go through for you guys, to help you find the perfect first car. If the content did help you, if you do like it, obviously make sure to drop a like and subscribe to see more awesome stuff in the future. And with that out of the way, obviously we can roll the intro and then get into the content. Now hold up, before I do anything, I forgot to do the wrist check, so let me get that out of the way. For those of you guys who don't know, are new to the channel, I do a lot of stuff with watches as well. So on the wrist is a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. I honestly love the blue dial, it's a beautiful watch. But anyways, let's just jump right into the first segment, and that is budget. The first thing you want to do is you want to set a budget. You want to know how much you're going to be paying for this car. Now, obviously, you could talk about whether you're going to be paying cash or if you're financing the car, but you also want to know where's the money coming from? If your parents are, pitching in a bunch of money, or are they buying it outright? But know that budget and stay within it. The second thing I want to talk about is do not rush your decision-making process. This is not a race. Take your time, because when you rush, literally anything, bad things are bound to happen. So if you need a car by, let's say it's June 1st, don't start looking for cars on May 31st. Take your time. Do your research. Do not rush this purchase. It's a big one. Don't rush it. Now, the third thing is figuring out what kind of car you want. Now, that could either be a truck, an SUV, a minivan, although most kids or younger adults don't really like minivans. But hey, it is up to you. Figure out what suits your needs, what suits your lifestyle. If you want to go out, like off-roading, a Jeep Wrangler might be a great car for you. Whereas, maybe a Toyota Prius won't exactly do that for you. Figure out what your needs and your lifestyle are and tailor that to your search. Also, figure out what climate you live in. Figure out where you live. If the roads are utter crap, you probably don't want to be driving around in a low rider. The same thing is if you're driving around the winter a lot, if you have a very winterous climate, chances are you probably don't want a rear-wheel drive convertible for most of the year. The fourth thing I would say that you guys need to kind of keep in mind is whether you're going to be buying brand new or pre-owned. And also, if you're going to go with pre-owned, you should also know if you're buying it from a dealership or kind of a private sale. Now, there's pros and cons to, both of those. And honestly, with any of these, I should probably make kind of spin-offs into each and every single one, maybe talking a bit more and giving you more of an in-depth guide for each one. Now, the fifth point I really want to talk about is getting insurance quotes. A lot of times people just kind of buy it based on looks, and they're like, this is really cool, and they want to buy it, and then they don't actually get an insurance quote, and insurance to them is an afterthought. Certain cars do cost more to insure than others, especially luxury brands, and even sometimes, I know that some people don't think about colors, but certain colors do cost more to paint than other ones, and they actually do cost more to insure. Now, it's usually a very small amount, but also driving history also comes into play as well. So get an insurance quote on the vehicle before you consider buying it. All right, so the sixth thing I want you guys to look out for and just to think about is the total cost of ownership. Now, that could either mean your finance payments. Now, if you paid cash, that, X that out, it doesn't count. But you also want to be thinking about how much does it cost to insure as well, on a monthly basis. And then, obviously your maintenance. And obviously, when you're looking and researching these vehicles, take a look at reliability reports. Take a look at how much it's going to actually cost you to maintain this vehicle throughout your time of ownership. Usually, I would break it down into a year by year basis, right? But figure out what your total ownership cost is going to be. All right, so the seventh thing we want to keep in mind is just, considering where we're going to be buying these vehicles. Now, the thing is that generally speaking, what I would do is I would first of all look at places in Dubai. Now, you can either go to the dealerships, or as people like to call them, stealerships. And then you could also go, Facebook Marketplace. There's that. Kijiji, if you're in Canada, Auto Trader. And then also, escaping Craigslist. Yeah, Craigslist. So those are places you can buy these vehicles. And honestly, here's the thing. When it comes to, buying these vehicles and looking at places to buy, you want to there's also auctions. I forgot to mention auctions. But you never really want to buy a car sight unseen. Just because, if someone can go and put, crazy filters and other things on a picture on Instagram and make them look like a completely different person, we can do the same thing to cars, especially in car ads. They can make it look really, really beautiful, and then you show up and it's a little piece of junk. So I'd highly suggest don't buying sight unseen. So the eighth thing I want to talk about is the walk around and test drives. So the very first thing in this kind of segment I would be talking about is just bringing a person along with you who's more experienced in vehicles than you are. Now that could be, your mechanic buddy, your family member, maybe who has a lot of experience tinkering around with cars, but just make sure that they are there to provide a second opinion and also kind of go over the car, especially because you're a first-time buyer. You probably don't know everything that's going on with the vehicle. You can also alternatively bring it to a third-party place to get it inspected for a third-party inspection prior to, buying the vehicle. I know a lot of dealerships like to have, they're like certified pre-owned. It means it needs to have passed an X amount of point inspection and blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, I've seen some interesting things been thrown onto a lot that probably wouldn't really pass an inspection. But also the reason why that person is there is to provide a second opinion for you. You're not just jumping into something and solely thinking about it. You're like, yep, they're there to make sure you don't make a mistake or do something stupid, right? The other thing is I would always say is buy the seller. Do not necessarily just buy the car. Because there's so many people who are dishonest out there and who want to rip you off just to make a buck. Now, I just make sure that, you're trying to deal with honest people, because if they're not telling you things, that's a big red flag. Also, the other thing you want to know is make sure you ask what the title of the vehicle is. Ask to see, an accident history report. Ask to see the Carfax. Make sure you know whether it's an active title, a salvage title, or a rebuilt title, because that affects value. All right, so the final thing that we're going to be talking about is just negotiation. Simple thing is that this is your last kind of stop on your purchase. And the big thing is to remember that, 1, they're trying to sell a car. 2, you're trying to buy a car. You guys have the same purpose and the same goal in mind. Don't make them the enemy. Remember that when you're negotiating, you should be trying to work a deal that makes both parties happy. You shouldn't just get one party really, really angry. That's not going to leave a good taste, in pretty much anybody's mouth, maybe except for one party. That's not how I really like to conclude deals. That's not how really they should be done. Now, the other thing is in that vein, do not lowball. Lowballing in a dealership sense, they'll laugh you off the dealership and you won't get the service you expect from them. They'll basically put you in almost like not like blacklist you in the sense, but they'll be like, yeah, this customer's not really serious. As soon as you walk off the lot, they'll go huddle with their buddies, other salespeople buddies who probably will not be there in 2 or 3 months anyways, but that's besides the point. And they'll just make fun of you. If it's a private sale, they probably won't even either respond to your messages. They won't even want to deal with you. They'll just get angry and they'll be like, shove it. So don't lowball. Be realistic with your offers. Those are the 9 tips and tricks, or the 9 things I really want to talk about in this video. And obviously, if you did like the content, make sure to drop a like down below. Subscribe to see more awesome stuff in the future. And I will be making more videos in regards to that, but like individual topics. And if you guys do have any questions, I will be doing a live stream, and that will be coming up probably at the end of this week. So if you do have any questions, make sure to ask them in the comments. You can find me on Instagram at BA4_Massey, and you can ask the questions there. My inbox is always open. Anyways, with that out of the way, I'll just leave it off there. So take care and have a fantastic day. I'll see you later.